In this video, we will guide you through the necessary steps to safely inflate and construct your Atlantis equipment for operation on a swimming pool, making sure everyone has a safe and enjoyable time. It's essential that prior to use, all sites carry out site-specific assessments and formulate operating procedures in coordination with the operation manual. Before starting, you'll need to find a good space to inflate your Atlantis modules. There can be more than one space, and they will ideally be situated near the store cupboard with power points to plug your fans into. We recommend an area of 6 meters by 2 meters or larger, but smaller areas can be worked around. The space should be clear of clutter, have an empty floor area, and swept to make sure there's nothing sharp. Once you have the right space, plug in your fan and position it ready to inflate in a dry area with a minimum of 2 meters from poolside. Make yourself familiar with your modules using the pictures on the bags. It might also be a good idea to put your bags in the order you want to get them into the pool based on your overall Atlantis setup. Undo the bag straps. Take the inflatable module out of the bag and have the image visible so you can keep track of which module is which. Undo the strap wrapped around the module and roll it out. You'll need to locate the valves. There are 2 inflation valves on each module. The valves are covered by caps that simply twist off. The caps are connected to the module with a small piece of string so that you don't lose them. Connect the fan pipe to the fan. The fan has 2 pipe connections, one marked in, which sucks air in, and one marked out, which blows air out. Connect the out connection. Then connect the pipe to the module. The pipe has an adapter that pushes in and then locks onto the grey bar running across the valve and behind the white screw. Be careful not to force the pipe as it can break the valve. When you're ready, turn on the fan to inflate the module. There's a boost switch on the fan for quicker inflation, which we recommend using until the module is nearly inflated. Fans have a safe thermal cutout. Depending on your environment, you may experience a fan cutting out due to heat. In this instance, we advise using one of your other supplied fans, or wait until the fan has completely cooled down before using again. Once the section looks inflated and is holding its shape by air pressure alone, remove the pipe from the valve and turn the fan off. Take your pressure tester and press the on button. Press the mode button until PSI is shown in the small units indicator below the number. Once this is done, push the white adapter onto the valve. All of our modules have a set pressure, with most being set up for 0.6 psi. Check your manual to find the pressure for each of your modules. If the pressure is too low, keep inflating until you reach the recommended pressure. If you go too far and need to release some air, simply push the white screw top, holding it down to make the module deflate. Once you have several sections inflated, it's time to start joining them together. Sections can be joined together on the poolside or in the water. Modules are joined with bungee cords and Velcro straps. To begin with, connect the built-in D-rings on the underside of the modules with the adjacent section using the bungee cords, using the carabiner clips on both ends. Take care with the carabiner clips against the side of the module as they are metal and can be sharp when opened. Once the modules are securely together with the bungee cords, cover the join using the Velcro strap sections provided, laying across the join as tightly and securely as possible. This will keep the sections firmly together when the module is in use. Once all pieces are inflated and connected correctly, you'll need to anchor your Atlantis setup to the poolside. There are many possible anchor points, and to do this, we advise you to have at least 4. More may be needed dependent on your site-specific assessments. One should be where your customers can access the course, and we recommend several others at the most useful points to prevent movement. Please ensure there is a short bungee loop between the D-ring and the anchor rope to act as a shock absorber. Before running a session, a full briefing covering acceptable and unacceptable behaviour for users should be carried out by staff. This should include rules like no swimming underneath the inflatables, no diving from the inflatables, and do not enter the water without the presence of a lifeguard. Airspace advises you use buoyancy jackets with our Atlantis products. If using buoyancy jackets, please refer to the supplier's sizing and fitting information prior to use. We also recommend informing your users about the kinds of whistle calls you use and their meanings. Every leisure centre must carry out an on-site risk assessment of their Atlantis setup, including how lifeguards will control the access to the inflatable and positioning of lifeguards, with at least one lifeguard each side of the pool to monitor users. We also recommend carrying out a head count before and after the session. For some pools, it may be easier to undo the Velcro straps and bungee connectors whilst the sections are still in the pool. For other pools, it may be easier to move the section out of the water first. Whichever works best, sections need to find their way one by one to the identified inflation-deflation areas. Sections obviously move more easily when they're still on the water, so floating them as near as possible to where your fans are located is likely to be much easier than carrying them along the poolside. Lift and carry modules. Do not drag them. When the units are near the poolside and where pool facilities allow, it is advisable to wash down with fresh water after every session. It may also be necessary to periodically clean your Atlantis with a cleaning agent, depending on your environment. Please speak to Airspace for further information when required. Sections should never be stored with pool water on them. If you have no access to fresh water, sections need to be towel dried before being stored. Once a section is on the poolside near your fans, valves can be opened. On the valve, you will see the white valve screw. Push this to release the air. You can push the valve and turn it 90 degrees clockwise to keep the valve open. On large sections in particular, use both valves to speed up deflation. Depending on the size of the section, this works effectively for 2 or 3 minutes, but not enough to completely deflate the section. To do this, you'll need to use your fans to suck the remaining air out. Screw the fan's pipe into its in connection. Before starting the fan, make sure that the second valve, the one that isn't attached to the fan, is fully closed. Not doing so can cause the fan to fail. Turn the fan on and monitor. Once the section is fully deflated, turn the fan off and disconnect the pipe. You can fold and roll it to the right size and shape for it to fit back into its original bag. Keep the bag to hand to make sure you're folding the section to the right size and shape. This will involve folding the section into a long strip around 60 to 80 centimeters wide, or just less than the width of the bag, then rolling the inflatable to the right size. To keep the section compact as you roll, it can be useful to walk along the section as you do this. When the section is almost completely rolled, lay the strap that was originally around the section beneath it. Finish rolling and tie the strap to keep the section compressed. Place the section on the center of the bag and wrap the 4 edges around it. Store bags neatly in an allocated secure storage area. Airspace understands all pools are different and site-specific assessments are required for all Atlantis setups to operate safely. Please be sure to carry out risk assessments, refer to the operations manual and contact Airspace for any further guidance and best practice.